let's get into it. Blah blah blah. Intro. Discuss exactly what the title of the video says. Don't really need to do that. Ash, reduce breaching round explosive damage range to 2 meters. I personally didn't like this one. I thought this was kind of unnecessary.
I think with her getting 3, that's why they're adjusting it. I think for Zofia, it's a good change. I think later on they talk about reducing her explosive range. But with Ash, I don't know. I feel like it was the balance, her getting a 3rd charge. But I do believe like a lot of her breaching potential as far as like denying utility from below is impacted by it quite a bit.
I felt like getting rid of utility from below was a skill-based mechanic anyway.
100%.
And when they start nerfing things like that, it kind of makes alarm bells go off in my brain. Even if it is on an entry fragger, like I understand that that isn't Ash's role, but I don't think that aspect of her kit was making her busted, you know?
No, I think 100% it was, yeah, I think it was to bring her in line with Zofia. I think this was a planned Zofia change as far as when they were looking at how to bring her down. And then also, I think changing the explosive radius was just something that they thought for both of them. Exactly. I think they were trying to move Buck and Sledge and those kind of operators that are floor destructors into more of the foreground and a better choice than this like Ash and Zofia. I think maybe they were seeing it too much.
I think it's a little overthinking it, but
yeah,
not much you can do. Buck increased shotgun's total ammo to 30 plus 1. They got rid of the Claymore and they gave him a hard breach charge instead. I like the hard breach charge. I'm still to this day. My whole idea with Buck is that it never made sense for him. My camera's covering up the screen with the text, my bad. I never thought it made sense for Buck to basically just be better Sledge, to just have more ammo and be faster at doing his job than Sledge. I always thought it would have made sense to just nerf his total ammo count so that he had to be a little bit more precise than Sledge. He could cover like precise bits of ground very quickly, and Sledge's advantage could have been that he could cover a lot of ground over a longer period of time.
Yeah, I think this is kind of the opposite of the Zofia debate, is that Buck, I'm with you. I think if I were to adjust Buck, for one, I'd give him his grenades back, and I'd probably half his ammo from what it is now back to what it was a year ago. I think he can breach safer. He can breach more versatilely from below, from the side. I think that this change is more towards casuals that aren't, that end up only breaching one layer of the floor and having to waste ammo or not knowing where to breach and just kind of bucking the whole floor. As far as the hard breach charge, you're trading it for a Claymore, but I don't know anybody who's not running flashbangs on Buck right now. So
facts.
I mean, I don't think hard breach charge gets used as much anyways. It's kind of the new breaching charge. It's what you give to somebody when you need to take something away.
Give Sledgehammer a bigger punch in the wall. That's an idea. If you don't want to change the mechanic, the ammo count, I think, was the simplest way to fix the problem.
I think Sledge needs a faster animation. I think that's the problem, is that Sledge, he makes himself much more vulnerable than Buck does, because Buck can do it from 10 feet away. Sledge has to be literally right on the hole, basically.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you're much more likely to get spun around and shot breaching a floor as Sledge as opposed to Buck.
People seem to agree with your idea of making the Sledgehammer swing a little bit faster. Make Buck's shotgun integrally suppressed.
What?
Okay, we're just going to ignore that one. Give Buck his frags back? No, too late.
I think right now, with Buck with his ammo count as is, he doesn't need his frags back. I think that makes him too versatile. I think when his ammo was lower, his frags were good for him.
I tend to agree with that. I got the sentiment behind removing the frag grenade. I just thought it was a roundabout problem.
My philosophy in general is reduce the amount of projectiles.
I'm with you on that as well. Echo, I actually agree with this change.
Solid buff. I think the inevitable happened with him losing the invisibility, and this brings him a little bit more in line with being able to move his yokais around faster.
Yeah, I'll just read it out loud for the video. Reduced yokai drone jump cooldown to 2 seconds. Reduced drone timeout failing to stick to the ceiling to a half a second. And reduce the sonic burst cooldown to 16 seconds. I think that Echo, if he doesn't have the cloak on the drone, should just fill in the role as something like an active droner for defense. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think Echo's a much more skill-based operator now, as much as he can be with having to actually think about where you place these drones. And just like that, I mean, he basically got a 25-30% speed buff across the board with his drone. I think it's a good change now that they're visible.
Yeah, I don't have any complaints about that. I like that a lot. I always felt that that was kind of the direction they should have gone in the first place, because it felt really cheese with the invisibility. And you could still kind of active drone even without the buff to begin with, so that's nice to have. Ela, of course, this was a big kerfluffle. Removed.
Who cares?
Yeah, like who cares? Removed resistance to concussion effects and removed extra mine while in down but not out.
This is anecdotal, but I have never ever once. I've hit the extra mine, used it while I was down, but I've never once. I don't think I've ever hit somebody with it.
I don't think I have either. I've been playing the game for a pretty long time too.
Her and Zofia's concussion resistance was what, like a second less? Like,
I think it was. Yeah.
It was negligible. I think this is basically just Zofia lost this stuff, so she lost this stuff.
And it was kind of silly that they even had that additional bit of resistance to begin with. Competitively speaking, it was just another thing to randomly throw into a round just cause. Callie, this is the one that really got me
bad.
Out of all the ones on, like, I've been telling people I'm 70-30 on these patch notes, and the main reason that I'm not 90-10 in terms of favoring them and not favoring them is because of the Callie change. I think this really, I was one of the first people to say it. I believe so. This basically makes 3 armored characters. It just gives them a free gunfight. It gives them a free swing, and then easy gunfight.
Yeah, on paper, it's half buff, half nerf, right? Really, it's more 60% buff, 30% nerf. On paper, you still down 2 speeds, but then you don't kill or down. You only do like 70 damage to a 3 armor. The problem is that in practice, Callie is always fighting sight, right? She's very rarely
opening wall
fighting a roamer. She's always fighting an anchor, who are more than likely a 3 armor.
Yeah.
And so she loses a lot of effectiveness on an already bad setup with the rifle. Not to mention, I mean, her gadget just is nowhere near Thatcher's. Like it seems like a change that I could see getting reverted in the next patch.
If they're not going to touch her gadget at all, if they're not going to touch her gadget or her sniper, I remember making a video about this a while ago. It was how to buff Callie. Just give her a regular gun instead of the sniper rifle.
Yeah, I mean, I would even see giving her like Glaz's DMR. You know, you don't even have to give her an assault rifle. Give her a DMR. Like
at this rate, her primary weapon is her pocket SMG, the pocket F2.
If she didn't have an MP7 or an MP9, she'd never get played. She just
facts.
She'd be impossible to play. I mean, her kit is a bolt action with slow ADS time and super zoom, and a CZ with the worst sights in the game. I mean, at that point, you're shooting yourself in the foot just to get a Thatcher alternative.
I'm struggling to figure out what the issue was with the sniper and why. Because if you read Ubisoft's reasons, because if we're just going to go off of their logic here with this chart that they love, Callie's not in a particularly good spot anyway. Yeah, it says population targeted by this change, casual, top ranked, and pros. First of all, the only situations I've ever seen her brought in pro play are very limited instances where a Maverick is not viable to bring. So you have to go through 2 layers. You have to go through a Thatcher ban, and then you have to go through a Maverick ban, probably. And that's very rare. I've played Callie a little bit in some Go 4s here and there. I've had pretty good success with her, but it's not easy to do. And the sniper rifle, I feel like, oh, well, it's a one-shot down for everybody, and that's really frustrating. It's already a skill-based gun as much as you can get in this game, in a game with one-shot headshots.
Yeah.
So many people have leveled the argument of, oh, just him in the head. I disagree with that sentiment with a gun that has a fire rate of bang, chick, chick, bang, chick, chick, bang. That's craziness.
And is minimum 8 times, right?
Yeah. You're so limited in the kinds of engagements that you can actually take.
My big problem with this is that you have similar weapons in CSGO or Valorant with the ops, and there's not an issue with those. Maybe in Valorant a little bit with the movement, but I think they fixed that lately. But the issue here is that, like, this is a game where one-shot headshots rule, and then what it mentions here is that it's been noted in balancing surveys. And so, are these balancing surveys from professional players? Are they from casual players? Are these little surveys that get emailed out from your Ubisoft Connect and you fill out? And it's like, oh, I hate getting one shot by Callie, in casual. And so I don't want to say this is pandering to the casual community, but it feels like the majority here is getting missed, and it's focusing a lot on the very low casuals and the very high professional players. But I'm with you. I mean, I haven't seen pro players complain about it, or Callie even be brought in pro play. Maybe
her presence is already so low. Yeah. And they say here Callie's low presence is due in part to a weapon that is considered underperforming. So
I feel like this
why would you
be a buff?
Yeah, I think I just disagree with the notion that it is a buff. It's like you said earlier, on paper, it seems like a buff, but then you look a little bit deeper and then you go into what you mentioned with the types of opponents that she's fighting against. If the majority of her opponents were 3 speeds and not 3 armors, then yeah, I would say that that's probably not that big of a deal. And there's only 2 3 armored characters on attack that are really viable in competitive play. Maybe Fused in certain instances, but you got Gridlock and Monty. That's kind of it. Yeah. On defense, you have Echo, Maestro, Mira, Rook, Doc. There's so many characters.
I think this is a change where if they want to keep this line of thinking, maybe they go back and they say, okay, it's going to kill a 3 speed, it's going to down a 2 speed, and it's going to down a 1 speed, but won't down a 1 speed if they get hit in like the arm or the leg, right? It has to hit them in the chest.
I agree with that.
As soon as the patch came in, I mean, we played Callie, and I hit a Maestro square in the chest, and he just walks away, and gets to keep shooting at me with an 80-round LMG. I mean, what do you do in that situation? I think you put Callie in a tough spot.
Yeah, and now there's even more. There's even more utility for the defense to keep. I think Callie. I think it should be more like a Jaeger and Wamai sort of situation. Right now, I think Jaeger and Wamai are both have individual things that they can bring to the table that have their own merits. Right now, the only reason that I ever played Callie was whenever Thatcher got banned. Now, even if Thatcher gets banned, I don't even want to bring her at all. So
I think you're dead on. I think the problem, and they've identified it, is her gun. But I don't think you're going to fix this by altering her gun stats. She needs a new one entirely.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna give her a new one because her bolt action is like hurt.
They did it for Melusi.
Her identity.
Melusi and Oryx got different guns.
But you don't. Whenever you're not picking Oryx because he had a MP5. You're picking Oryx because he could buzz through walls and jump through hatches.
Nobody's picking.
Yeah, well now I'm picking Oryx because he has a T5.
Yeah, Callie's horrible at blowing up utility. That's the thing.
She's the only other one that can, though, through a wall.
But you have to get that dead on, or it's not gonna work.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're playing Gym Bedroom, right, and Thatcher's banned, your alternative is to blow through the windows. Basically, you don't have
Which
anywhere to go
works.
below. You have to expose yourself. The only other option is Cali.
The problem for me isn't the gadget; it's the gun requires skill I don't have. I don't think Shroud wants to play Cali.
I don't think Kimmy S wants to play Cali.
Yeah, I don't think it's a skill thing. I think she just sucks.
It was a neat idea after everybody, wanted a sniper with glass, and it was like, put a real sniper and put a real sniper in. It just, I think this is the theory proven that it's just.
All right, let's talk about Lesion. They got rid of his
cares?
1.5 scope. He's underpowered.
Give him back to 1.5.
Give him an MP5, then he won't be played as much.
We took Legion's 1.5. His pick rate and his fucking win rate is literally not going to move.
Man.
What you mean is sight's not the problem?
If they want to change Legion, take his impacts. Take his impacts or take 2 of his mine.
Bingo, I'm okay with that too.
Or do like they did for Echo and take his invisibility away.
Well, they already took his invisibility away, didn't they? You can still kind of see them if you're paying attention.
They took Echoes. They didn't take Legions. Legions like have a shine to them.
Yeah, they down.
Because they changed it. They used to have like full invisibility, and then they swapped the Yokai's invisibility and the Goo Mine's invisibilities. So now the Goo Mines shine if you're looking for them.
I think there should be more ways to find the Goos.
I think make him visible if you really want to nerf him.
Make him visible, not like cloaked.
Yeah, visible. You can see Ela mines, you can see Capcan traps. I don't know why you can't see Legion mines.
You can see
You
can see barbed wire too, and they're used for a pretty similar reason.
I think also if you made them visible, exactly that. Like they're small enough to hide that you get better positioning out of them instead of just throwing them randomly in the middle of the floor and having that frustration of hitting one just randomly. You would have them placed more, by the side of doorways or under windows where people aren't gonna, be able to see them or expect them and get hit by them. Instead of just chucking them in the middle of a room and somebody hitting 3 of them.
If they're not invisible, you really can't put them on. You need them on the stairs if you don't have any barbed wire. There's just better barbed wire at that point.
Yeah.
Especially with the
I think there's other things.
ban too.
Then my argument would be where barbed wire exists, Melusi exists, Ela mines exist.
But Melusi
proximity mines exist. Proximity mines now. I mean.
Yep.
I like proximity mines. I think it's really good utility.
I think there's a lot of alternatives now.
Maybe just take away the little like cloaking thing that they have on them already and see what happens.
Personally, even as somebody that is very outspoken about, I think Legion's a bad operator.
Where is he on the chart? I mean, he's.
I think Legion's a bad operator. I think he's not fun to play against. I don't really think he's fun to play as either. But I think he's just an operator that's a little overtuned, and that's okay. Like you're gonna have operators that are better at their jobs than.
There's a lot of characters in this game.
Yeah,
it's 58 characters, but it's definitely not the gun. We're all in agreement on that.
No, the T5 is a good defender weapon.
Definitely not the gun.
I don't think anybody was complaining about a 1.5. Yeah. If it had an ACOG on it, maybe. But 1.5, nobody cares.
Or not the gun, but at least the scope. The gun contributes to his pick rate a lot, but the scope wasn't what was making him powerful. Lion, they gave him a claymore. Woohoo! Cool. Okay.
I don't really like it. I think Lion has enough movement restrictions that he didn't really need a claymore. But
I don't hate it though.
What else are you gonna give him? I guess I don't think he needed the hard breach charge.
Give him a grenade.
Yeah, I mean, what else? The only other option that you could give him is exactly grenades, smokes. If you gave him breach charges, I mean, he's just already has no secondary utility. So
removed angled grip from the MP5.
No one cares. Would she lose 0.3 seconds of ADS time? Like,
yeah, that didn't do shit.
Whenever her gadget makes a person slow down too, it doesn't really matter at all.
I don't. Okay. Look,
take a Banshee. It is the same problem as Goyo. Yeah. Take a Banshee.
Take a Banshee.
I think she's more suppressive than Goyo, if I'm being honest.
I agree, because she doesn't have to. She doesn't have to be. Think about it. She doesn't have to be near the gadget for it to work. She doesn't have to have line of sight on it. It doesn't have a limited amount of time of effectiveness. Goyo's shields only work for a little while.
I can agree with that, bro.
Arguably, Melusi's the best defender on the board right now.
I would argue that Melusi and Goyo are brought for slightly different reasons. Goyo is area denial. Melusi is more like crowd control. Yeah, I think it's just the gadget just does so much. Like it's super barbed wire.
It's the Goyo shield all over again.
She doesn't need 3 of them. I didn't think she needed 3 of. I didn't think she needed 3 of them when she came out.
I think this is one of those things too that contributes to the Ashe and Zofia pick rates. Is there's just so much that you can't shoot. You have to blow up. And so,
Goyo is not played for area denial. It's just used as a slightly worse shield. That is cap. Please stop capping in the chat.
That's such cap.
We're gonna put,
whoever said that's definitely like a silver.
That's cap. Here, let's put the cap on for the cap in the app.
I mean,
okay.
I don't think you're playing directly behind a Goyo shield, but if you're not putting a Goyo shield to deny entryway somewhere, maybe nice words because it's gonna be a video.
Okay. Mira.
Who cares?
She's underpowered, dude. This is a huge nerf. I don't know why they would do this. Now no one's gonna want to play Mira anymore, dude. It's not. It's just not gonna happen.
Her own design. They made such a good gadget that you could even take one. Guns. You could literally take 1 Mira away from her and reduce her to 1 Mira, and she would still probably have the same ban rate. It's just
the gadget's so freaking good.
You're usually gonna have on every site 1 main mirror, anyways, and the second one's always tertiary. It just
big word.
Look, I was one of the weirdos that didn't even run the 1.5 on it anyway. So
I think there's a lot of things you have to tool with Mira. 1.5 scope definitely isn't changing anything.
You would think, like, I'm giving a lot of credit to the devs at this point saying this, but you would think after only taking the ACOG away from Maestro and him still being insanely powerful, that they would have learned that it's not the sight that matters. But
I just almost think it's harder, and again, this is probably me giving too much credit to the devs. It's probably harder to code a change to a gadget than it is to remove a scope.
I agree.
And
I can agree.
I think Maestro, like Mira, is one of those where he's a victim of his own design. That 3 years ago when he came out, the Evil Eyes were this kind of new, fun gameplay mechanic. And now that the game has evolved for years and more stuff has been added to it, that he is too much now, right? Same thing with Mira. When Mira came out, she was a super pick and has to be played all the time. And then bans came out. We were in a place where there's a lot of alternatives. I think they're victims of their own design. They came out at a different point in time for the game when something like that was really important. Mira came out when you needed a way to change sights up. Mira was perfect for that. Maestro came out when the Glass Ying meta was huge and needed a way to see through smokes and deny plants like that. He was a great operator to have. Now the meta's changed. They're a little overtuned. There's too much information they gather. There's no one thing you can do to Mira that's gonna fix it, and if you did 2 things to Mira, you would just break her, right?
Well,
if you took her nitro cell, if you take a Mira away, if you take your nitro cell away, she's still gonna be brought. If you do both of them, she's just not gonna get played, right? Like,
because one of the benefits about her mirrors is that she doesn't have to be the one to use them. Anyone can use them. Yeah. So she provides the entire team with something. That's the issue, is that she's one of those operators that provides a really, really high performance floor and a really high ceiling just based off of the gadget alone. Just having one of those in play provides so much to your team.
I'm definitely one of the people that are in the camp of, like, when an operator dies, their gadget dies. And so, like, in the case of, like, Maestro and Echo, I think when those operators die, the dead defender shouldn't get to use those cameras for information.
I think either that or
they should turn off.
I don't think they should turn off necessarily, but I think that, like, Maestro cam should open so you could kill him after Maestro's dead.
I saw something in chat. A nerf that I saw online was to make Ashe, Zof, and Sledge be able to crack the mirror window. I agree with that sentiment. I think that there need to be more counters to the mirror in general.
I don't think Ashe and Zof need any kind of buff.
I don't necessarily think Ashe and Zof should be the ones to do it, but I think there are more characters that should be able to. Like Callie. Why not her?
Even I've seen this theory too, where, like, you make it like the ballistic shields where when you shoot the glass, it continuously like gets get like dirty and bullet impacts on it.
It cracks.
But at that point, I think like you're just gonna get people shooting all over the mirrors anyways. And then what's the point?
That's going to be really
right?
boring gameplay.
The one I've read that I think would be the most interesting, probably the most plausible, is making it two-way, where it's not blacked out on one side anymore, and so you can see who's on the other side of the mirror. I think that might help a little bit.
Bring it back when it
Yeah.
first came out, dude, where you can knife it through the mirror and open
Kind
it.
of like on Stadium where they have the cleared glass. Clear
I
bulletproof
guess.
glass.
That'd be cool.
I guess,
towards
but
that.
I'm worried that might be too hard of a nerf.
If she keeps two of them,
Because
because
part of what makes her a threat is the fact that you can't tell. That's
I
what
think
makes it so good.
That's exactly. You maintain, you retain the denial. You retain the sight setup, but then you lose the aspect of like you don't know if there's somebody on the other side, right? You reduce her threat quite a bit while maintaining her flexibility.
You could have a 2-layered system. You could have the black part of the mirror, the one-way side of it, could get shot out by something like a Kali Lance, but it doesn't destroy the mirror completely. Like, then it becomes a 2-way mirror. Or like a 2-way piece of glass.
I would be okay with Callie breaking it. I don't see why Callie doesn't break it at this point.
I don't know.
I mean,
either.
I guess because it's a projectile and she has 3 of them, right? And so, like, it'd be pretty easy to burn ADSs and just immediately kill a mirror. But at the same time, like, Hibana kills it when she blows it off the wall. I think that'd be a solid buff to Callie for sure. Would increase her pick rate.
I guess. I don't know. Well, this will be a fun topic for a video maybe one day. Speaking of fun topics for a video, Zof.
Cry more, Reddit boys. You know what? I've said it. I said it on Twitter. I've said it to people in ranked. I've said it on this fucking stream. If you think that Withstand was a unique and interesting mechanic that made the game more interesting and her a more fun operator to play, you were 100% the kid that got hit in dodgeball and was like, I didn't get hit. I'm still playing it. That was you. Nobody else gets a fucking second life. If you think getting a second life is unique and cool, then you're fucking no.
Oh
Cry more.
Oh my god.
Oh shit!
Oh, what an analogy.
It's so good.
It's so true.
It's so good. No, it's facts. That's 100% facts. So many people tried to gotcha me on the chess analogy that I made in the video. They were like, "Well, if you know all the abilities in the game, then you don't have an excuse." It's like, yeah, okay, I do know all the abilities. And one of the abilities in the chess game is that one pawn on white side, and I don't know who, can randomly just decide to not be captured.
It doesn't even really affect the game. It never really happens.
Like,
yeah, neither do nuclear launch codes, but should we have nukes? I'm just saying, bro. Like,
it's just so crazy the amount of people trying to gotcha on this topic. Like, oh, what about Doc? Should Doc be able to do it? Yes.
Yes. Doc uses utility
Done.
to do it. When he doesn't have his utility, he dies.
Fucking-
Zofia doesn't fucking concuss herself in the brain and get back up, okay?
Yeah.
She just stands up because she can stand up.
Yeah, this. God. I'm done. I hate it. I hate it here. I'm tired of this. Just. Okay. Birdman said it on Twitter too, one of my Discord mods and Twitch mods. If you want to quit the game over this change, please, I beg of you from the bottom of my heart, please,
Play Warzone.
please
They banned
quit.
60,000 cheaters.
Please quit. Go away. I don't care. Leave. Just go, dude. Oh my god. If that was the straw that broke the camel's back for you, then it's just hopeless, man.
These motherfuckers okay with Melusi,
Just
but they not
hopeless,
okay
dude.
with Withstand going
Yeah.
bye-bye?
Oh no, like, come on. There's a bunch of crap about ballistic shields. Delete
I think,
shields.
The
Done.
hard breach charges, them getting a buff, chef's kiss.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm
Very
happy
good.
about this one too. Recoil stuff. It's only on console. Pro, you're trolling.
Look, bro, how am I supposed to read controller only?
No way. It's
How
just
mu-
console.
How am I supposed
It says
to
controller
read?
only.
Read?
Yeah, if you go to
Reading?
this is he's got the designer notes pulled up, but in the patch notes it says recoil
Oh,
parentheses controller
okay.
only.
Okay. Oh, sorry, officer. Back there it said 45 miles an hour.
It said stop. Oh man.
Wait, Pro literally said last night that
Yeah, it's controller only. I was wrong. I'll admit it.
you literally said you had to pull up on the mouse.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's what you do when you get a Finka boost. You have to push up,
Yeah,
and then they finally gave up on the pre-reinforced hatches thing. Thank God, I hated it. Please, thank you, thank
Now,
you,
hold
Yubi.
on. This is one of those things that I feel like I would rather have them found a way for the defenders to reinforce the hatch. I think them being pre-reinforced was bad. I don't think anybody liked that. But if the defenders had to give up, part of their 10 reinforcement pool to reinforce a hatch, I think it'd be okay.
Well,
Especially on like Clubhouse, I would give up for Logic Hatch or Aruni is the only one that can put utility on hatches beside Cade.
What about Oryx?
I mean,
Oryx goes
well,
through
he
the
can go
hatches,
through
on
them.
hatches.
Let
Yeah.
Oryx jump on the roof.
Yo,
they
you
already
know what?
can do
Can he
that.
I
not?
don't
No,
know
not
why they
anymore.
let him. That's such a troll thing that would. I mean, if that works,
Well, it was in the
that's on
test
the
server.
attackers.
That's what I'm saying,
If-
dude. If you let that happen to
if you
you,
let
bro.
Oryx
If you
get
let
on
that
the
happen to
roof,
you, that's over, dude. You're just
yeah, it's your fault.
you're done.
Let him do it.
You're
Let
done.
him do it for the memes.
Let Oryx jump on the roof.
I think. How long was it on test server? Fucking 3 patches. Like it
Not that
was on there
long.
a while.
No,
It was on there a
not.
while.
It was not.
I never tried to do that, so I wouldn't. I don't know. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't even think about it.
It was so stupid, dude. It was so stupidly fun, though.
They're
Bro,
talking
imagine,
about
like,
Finka in the chat again.
fuck
Alex's
bad.
Finka.
Alex's
bad,
favorite
chat.
operator.
Don't-
We
Please
literally
Finka.
just showed your chat yesterday on stream why it's bad.
Do you think SEAL Team 6 killed Bin Laden with a bolo lean? Yeah, that's exactly how they did it, dude. They were fucking like clearing the angles like this, dude. They were just fucking like they quick peeked it. See, the problem was like Bin Laden was like holding the angle like this, and then the guy like quick peeked it like that, and he was like